Joining us now in the studio to discuss latest developments is U.S.-Israeli relations expert, Ambassador Yoram Ettinger. Ambassador Ettinger, thank you for being our guest this evening. It appears President Trump is keen to let Israel and the Palestinians work out a peace deal on their own. How is this possible when both sides have refused to sit at the negotiating table for such a long time?
Well, the main issue is, would it serve America's interest to initiate and thus repeat litany of American initiatives going back to the 1950s? All of them failed. And the challenge is to learn from history by avoiding rather than by repeating mistakes. U.S. does play a role once the two parties agree on an initiative, as it was with Israel initiating peace with Egypt, Israel initiating peace with Jordan, then the U.S. joined. The U.S. did not initiate those two peace treaties, but more importantly, the question is, would it serve America's interest to push for a Palestinian state? It seems to me that the current administration understand that a Palestinian state would severely undermine America's interest by destabilizing the region, threatening to topple the Hashemite regime in Jordan, creating a ripple effect into Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, playing into the hands of Iran and other rogue regimes in the area.
Ambassador, it's been almost 25 years since the Oslo Accords. All attempts to reach a two-state solution to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict have failed so far. Don't you think that President Trump's approach has a better chance of succeeding then?
Well, it seems to me that he is much more in touch with Middle East reality than his predecessors, who assumed that one could bring about a Palestinian-Israeli peace at a time when there is no yet intra-Arab peaceful coexistence in the region. And the question is it really serious to assume that that which they still have not accorded one another, they are going to accord upon the so-called infidel Jewish state in what they call the abode of Islam? It seems to me that President Trump and especially Vice President Mike Pence are acquainted with reality. They pursue America's interest, and therefore they refrain from initiating a new peace initiative or pushing for a Palestinian state.
Prime Minister Netanyahu reportedly spoke to President Trump of involving Arab states in a regional peace deal. What do you make of this?
Well, my assumption is that a regional approach would focus on primary regional interest. Primary regional interests as far as the pro-American Arab regimes are concerned. As far as the U.S. is concerned, primary interest is not the Palestinian issue, not the future of Jerusalem or Jewish settlements in Judea and Samaria. The primary elements which preoccupy the mind of the House of Saud, of the Hashemites in Jordan, of the pro-American regimes in Bahrain, Oman, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, etc., as well as Egypt, has to do with the clear and present danger of Iran, which has a machete literally at the throat of every single pro-American Arab regime. A primary regional Arab as well as American interest has to do with Islamic terrorism, which once again constitutes a very lethal threat to every single pro-American Arab regime, and a primary American interest as well as pro-American Arab regimes is to stabilize those Arab regimes. When it comes to those primary regional and American interests, Israel has played a major role, a unique role, not only in the Middle East, but throughout the world. The Saudis, the Jordanians, the Egyptians, the Bahrainis, the Kuwaitis have no better life insurance agent in the Middle East than is Israel.
Netanyahu is certain that the U.S.-Israel alliance is getting stronger. Do you agree with this sense of optimism?
Well, the reality is that even the last 8 years, when there was no chemistry between President Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu, U.S.-Israel strategic cooperation surged to unprecedented heights. It surged to unprecedented heights as a byproduct of reality. The reality suggests that Israel has been, for instance, the most effective, the most cost-effective, battle-tested laboratory for the U.S. defense industry. We use hundreds of U.S. defense systems. Each one of them we upgrade through hundreds of lessons learned through Israeli operation, maintenance, and repairs. Those lessons have enhanced America's research and development, have enhanced the competitiveness of the U.S. defense industry, therefore increasing U.S. defense exports and expanding U.S. employment base. Israel contributes in the same manner to the defense industry as well as the commercial high-tech industry, American irrigation, American agriculture, certainly to America's national security and counterterrorism intelligence.
Ambassador Yoram Ettinger, always great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.